Hello, everyone. We have a special treat for you today. We are going to be making a holiday ham. And this is a very simple holiday ham recipe. As you can see here, I have my ham that I bought prepackaged at my local grocery store. That's primarily the ham you're wanting to get. The ham here is a bone-in cured ham. That's preferably the type of ham you want. You don't necessarily want to go to a butcher to get an uncured ham. For this simple recipe, a cured ham is the preferable way to go. So we are going to start by basically unwrapping the ham here, and we want to make sure we try not to cut any of the outer skin humanly possible. So try to be careful as you take out the packaging here, because that's obviously going to be important. Our ingredients we are going to use is honey Dijon mustard, some dark brown sugar, and then we're also going to be using a barbecue rub as well, which we have American BBQ Project's Mama's BBQ Rub, which is going to be that extra piece of delicious flavoring that's going to just add to the great sweet glazy taste of this ham. So as you can see here, I'm actually carefully trying to unwrap the package here so that way I don't cut any of that outer crust, because we really do want to keep all of that crust here. And it is a bit tough, so just be careful on that. So while this is all going here, I actually have my smoker that is prepping as we speak. So my smoker is set to 225 to about 225 to 230. Judge your temperatures based on your weather, so make sure you take care of that. And for the pellets that I'm using a combination of cherry and apple wood. Now you can use whatever fruity woods you want. It's entirely up to you. So right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to pat down the moisture on the ham to make it as dry as possible. And the reason being is we're going to be putting our mustard and rubs and seasonings on this ham here. So you want to try to pat it down as best as you humanly can. And like I said before, I got the smoker. It's already in the middle of running here, so it's temping up as we speak. And this is like the perfect meal that you can have for the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, heck, if you do a New Year's Eve dinner, you do a New Year's Eve dinner. And to give you some thought, I actually did all of this in one morning. So this is a 4 to 5 hour time limit as far as the cooking goes, but it's going to be really easy. So next up we have our honey Dijon mustard. That's just the mustard I got again at my local grocery store. And what we're going to do here is we're actually going to coat the entire thing in this mustard. And the reason being is this kind of acts a little bit, you're not going to taste the honey as much. I mean, there's going to be a lot more sweetness, but this is going to be kind of like that glaze, but more or less a binder. Most of the sweetness and flavoring is going to come from the brown sugar and the barbecue rub that we're going to add on here, but we're just using this as a great binder. If you haven't used mustard as a binder before, highly recommend it, but it's easy way to get that rub to stick on there. And that's the biggest thing, is you want to make that rub, the sugars all stick on the ham as much as humanly possible, because you don't want to lose it. And now, like I said before, my smoker's prepped. I use a pellet smoker, but don't be afraid. You could use whatever smoker you want to use that is for your needs, whether that be a charcoal smoker or electric smoker, doesn't matter. Feel free to work with anything that you want to have there. As you can see, I'm coating it as much as humanly possible. Don't be afraid to go liberal with this. Don't try to put as much as you can. I'm really trying to get that bottom layer, the bottom portion of the ham all done up there. So you can see me really trying to coat this, because we're going to put a lot of stuff on here. Next here, what we're going to be doing is adding our brown sugar. So as you can see here, I started with the bottom, and the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to flip the ham so that way the flat side lays there. Now, There's multiple ways you could do this. This is one way I'm doing it. And as you can kind of see, I'm using an aluminum tray here to make sure that it catches anything. Basically, put it in the tray. It'll make it less messy for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat the bottom of the ham first using the brown sugar and also the Mama's BBQ Rub from American BBQ Project. Now, we highly recommend their rubs. You know, we use them all the time in any of our cooking that we do. We're always using American BBQ Project rubs. They're fantastic. There's, you know, the great flavoring. It's very savory. Just an all-around great rub. You can go on their website, AmericanBarbecueProject.com, just to, you know, grab some of the rub. Highly recommend it. I use it for all the cooking I do. I use it for the grilling competitions I do. It's just a great rub to use. Now, as you can see here, I am finishing up the bottom here, and I'm going to flip this ham over here. So there we go. And now it's going to be brown sugar time, and I'm going to use a good amount of this. Don't overload the brown sugar all in one go, because we're actually going to be using the brown sugar again in the middle of this cooking process a little bit later. But you want to get like a nice base layer on there. Don't use the entire box of dark brown sugar. And speaking of the brown sugar, you want the dark brown sugar. Don't go for the light brown sugar. The dark brown sugar is going to give you that more robust, sweet flavor, which is going to ultimately create that glaze for you. And that's what you're looking for. And as you can see here, the prep is not hard whatsoever. This is just prepping the ham. So we already have majority of the stuff done here. We have the honey Dijon mustard to act as our binder, and then we have the brown sugar, and then the last part about this will be the rub, and I'll explain a little bit more on the rubs then. But you can see I'm really trying to get all the little nooks and crannies of the ham, and just really try to get that starter glaze going here, because that's going to the brown sugar is going to create our glaze. And this is going to be a relatively simple recipe. Again, I did this in one morning. I actually made this Thanksgiving morning, but I'm also doing the same thing again for Christmas dinner as well too. So easy, no time at all, and this is going to be, it's very cost effective, very crowd pleasing item, and you know, the entire family definitely enjoyed it. So now we can see here I'm sprinkling on the Mama's BBQ Rub, and this is going to give it that extra push of flavor that you're looking for. I, again, highly recommend this specific brand of rubs. It's delicious, and this is just to elevate it. This is to take it to the next level here, right? Because you could do the glazed ham as is with the brown sugar and whatnot, but this just adds additional flavor to it. So I'm really trying to, you know, once it's all done, what's going to happen here is it's not going to be like overly powerful barbecue like you would expect, like a pork shoulder or anything like that. That glaze is going to shine through here, and you're going to see just how good this comes out at the end of the video here. So for the most part, you know, we're just trying to finish up just getting the rubs in. And so just a recap on our current ingredients: we used the honey Dijon mustard for the binder, the dark brown sugar to kind of get that glaze started in the cooking process, and now we're using the Mama's BBQ Rub for just that extra hint of flavor, give it a little bit of barbecuiness to it. So there you have it. That's just the beginning, and that's most of the prep work done right there for the ham. We're in a good spot as we kind of get ourselves ready for putting this on our smoker. And as you can see, I use a pellet smoker. It's prepped to 225. It is a little bit cold outside, so there is going to be slight fluctuations, but not too bad. Just always make sure you have a full hopper. So I can see everything here. Everything's ready to go. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this on my smoker, and for the first couple hours I'm going to let this cook. I want this to cook in temp up to about I'd say about like 120, 130-ish. Ultimately, my goal is to hit 140, 145. And as you can see here, a couple hours later, checking on the ham here, making sure it's all good, because we're going to be entering the next phase here. This phase is crucial to making sure we get that delicious flavor and that really get that glaze going. As you can see, all the edges are starting to really come together now. You can see that crust that's forming from the rub and the sugar we have here. So I got my ham. The smoker is still going, so let that do its thing. And what we're going to do next here with the ham is we're going to wrap this ham in aluminum foil, and we're going to use pineapple juice. Now, some people stick the pineapples directly on there. Feel free to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I find just as well as spraying it with pineapple juice, just as good. Like I said, this was a huge crowd pleaser during Thanksgiving. And again, they wanted me to make it again. So, of course, I'm making it again. So what we're going to do is we got our aluminum foil here, and essentially we are going to put this ham on the aluminum foil, and then we are going to wrap this. And when we do the wrapping, it's not just throw it on there, because again, it's going to be a juicy ham. It's cooking in there, so you can see the glaze that's starting to really come off now, and it's definitely getting sticky there. But what we're going to try and do is kind of create like a little like moat area, so that way what I want to do is have the juice all collect at the bottom and not lose any of this juice. So as you can see, I'm really trying to like create like a boat almost, if you will. But we're absolutely spraying this down with the pineapple juice, and we're going to spray it quite a bit because we want that flavoring to get there. And you'll probably end up doing a couple of sprays here because, again, like I said, this takes about 4, maybe 5 hours depending on the ham size that you get. I mean, I believe I went with a 10 to 12 pound ham, and it did just fine. But you're going to probably be glazing it with spraying it with the pineapple juice a little bit at a time here, and that's okay because you really want that flavor to stick. So ultimately, we're getting ready to wrap this up here, and I'm trying to make sure that we don't lose any of the glaze, any of the juice, and just try to carefully wrap this. As you can kind of see, I kind of ripped the tin foil a little bit, and it's all about that careful construction because I want everything to be sealed, but I don't want to lose any of the juice or glaze in there whatsoever. So now that we have that going here, let's put it back on the smoker here, and we're going to essentially keep smoking this until we reach about a temp of 140 to 145. So I've already had it on the smoker for a little while here, and as you can see, I've been putting a little bit of pineapple juice on here, spraying it for the last hour. I did that. And so what I'm going to do here is remember how I told you don't use all the brown sugar? Well, this is where we're going to use more brown sugar just to kind of continue to build that glaze a little bit. So I'm taking that off. I'm taking the drip tray because we're practically done with it at this point. And what we're going to do is I'm going to open just the top of this. I'm going to keep all the juices and all the glaze in there. I'm only opening the top portion, again, creating that boat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brown sugar and I'm going to sprinkle / rub a little bit more brown sugar all over it to kind of get that glaze going there. I want to make sure that we, just get more sweetness on there. It's going to be a delicious ham here. Again, crowd pleaser at the family table. And it wasn't that difficult to make this at all. So you see, I'm not putting too much on there, just a little bit more, just to kind of top it off a little bit more, and there's nothing wrong with that. Get it nice and sticky, because that's what this holiday ham is all about: sweet, sticky deliciousness. And you could really see the bark and the crust already forming from the rubs that we use in the glaze. So I could tell you right now, when I was making this was coming out phenomenal. The smell, I can't even describe the smell that I was smelling when I was making this on the smoker. It was so delightful. And like I said, I'm just kind of patting down a little bit more of that brown sugar here, just so I could just top it off with just a little bit more sweetener. And then also, if you want, check your glaze, check the moisture level on there. You feel free to also spray with the pineapple juice as well. You want to just make sure that you try to get it to a point that you feel comfortable with the level of savory and sweetness that's there, and just that you kind of get a feeling of when this is done. This is a done ham. All in all, this took me about 4.5 hours to make this. Wasn't bad whatsoever. The total cost of this was, I think it was like $15 to $20 for the ham, and as you can see here, I'm spraying it just to get a little bit more. $15 to $20 for the ham, and I just bought pineapple juice and brown sugar from the local grocery store, and then I had the Mama's BBQ Rub, already on hand when I decided to make this. And then the honey Dijon mustard. So this couldn't have been in total, if you didn't have anything, the aluminum foil or anything like that, ingredients wise, maybe about $40 if that. And then of course I already had the pellets and stuff, so not bad at all. But you could see that nice golden color crust on there. You could see just how everything just came together with a nice smoke layer. It was great. So we hope you enjoy and have a great holiday.